I was 82 maybe. And I'd say, the bad news is that I've been diagnosed with dyslexia. The good news is I just turned 28. Kind of loses its punch when you're 86. All right, so it's, I know that you've gotten used to us now, telling stories on stage. And I have told this so many times, but I think, for the one or two people that haven't heard this story, all right, 4 or 5, it's good that you know. I went through a pretty major spiritual experience when I was in my 30s, and Peter saw that, and he, in a sense, approached me as he was getting married, and he said, "Would you bless our wedding with a song?" And I felt a little like the guy in the Woody Allen film who hands the bank teller a note and says, "I don't have a gun, but I know where I can get one." Do you remember that scene? Well, I knew that I wasn't qualified to dispense blessings, but I knew where I could get one. So, and people have asked me, well, did you pray for it? Well, I didn't really. What I did was I asked a question. I said, how would you, capital Y, I closed my eyes and said, how would you, capital Y, manifest yourself at Peter's wedding? And man, I tell you, this was not, this was not an inspiration. This was an answer. And I just wrote down as fast as I could, "I am now to be among you, calling of your hearts, rest assured, troubadour, acting among our union spirits, because we remember wherever two more get together, there am I, and there's love." Finished it in, I don't know, 4 minutes. Remarkable for me. Well, hold your applause for and so there it was. I was 2 months before Peter's wedding, and I had the song, but I felt like Moses coming down with the tablets and being told not to reveal it until you get to the bottom of the mountain. So I didn't play it for anybody. I rehearsed it. I went in, and the original lyric was, "I am now to be among you at the calling of your hearts. Rest assured, this troubadour was." Well, so we go to the wedding in Wilmer, Minnesota, and there's some people from Maine that would really like to. And we're in the hotel, and my wife is making herself look prettier than she needs to be. She's already gorgeous, and she says, "Aren't you going to sing it for me?" And I said, "Well, I think I'm only supposed to sing it at the ceremony." And she gave me an answer that many married men in the room here tonight will recognize. It's just a one-syllable answer, but it's fraught. She said, "Oh." She was pretty clever. She said, "Well, don't you think you ought to rehearse it?" And she had me there. So I said, "Okay." Well, I did. And I sang it with the original lyric. When it was done, she said, "They're not going to understand you now." And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, at the wedding, they're going to think you're announcing yourself as the second coming. And I had to admit that part of that might have been true because I had gone through this major spiritual experience. So I changed the lyric on the spot to "He is now to be among you," which is probably the version that most of you know. The curious thing about that is here we are so many years later, and one of the big stumbling blocks in the acceptance of the faith is the patriarchal point of view. As a matter of fact, if I had access to a bumper sticker factory, I would manufacture one that said, "In matters of theology, it's wise that we remember, in Christ there is no east or west, In God, there is no gender. Because it strikes me that if I had just left the lyric alone, it would have spoken to so many more people. So tonight, I am not the second coming, okay? But I'm going to sing the original lyric for you. I'm now to be among you at the calling of your hearts. Rest assured this troubadour is acting on my part. The union of your spirits here has caused me to remain. For whenever two or more of you are gathered in my name, there am I. And there is love. Well, a man shall leave his mother, and a woman leave her home. They shall travel on to where the two shall be as one. As it was in the beginning, is now until the end. Woman draws her life from man and gives it back again. And there's love. There is love. Oh, that wants to be the reason for becoming man and wife. Is it love that brings you here, or love that brings you life? For if loving is the answer, then who's the giving for? Do you believe in something that you've never seen before? Oh, there's love. Yes, the marriage of your spirits here has caused